we also went undefeated for our 8th grade championship. And so a lot of those qualities stuck with them now into this varsity level. They were able to, build on all of those fundamental skills, and now being able to run and jump athletically now with their longer arms and longer legs. So it's really nice to see them grow up.
Yep, and they've changed quite a bit as I can imagine. Now, the HFC Warrior team comes in here, their head coach, John Davis. They've managed to only play 4 games. We found out tonight they have 5 players here with them. They came close. They lost by 1 point to a Green Country homeschool, but this Union team probably presents some pretty big challenges for them.
So it's going to be really difficult just for the sheer fact of this is a big 6A school and we got an underdog stepping in here. But really what's fun about this matchup for a team like HFC Warriors is that this is an opportunity for them to prove that maybe they can hang with the big dogs. But the real question is how long can they hang with them? Will it be tip to buzzer, or will they break at some point?
Right. And does that change Coach Redmond and his style? Obviously, he teaches, he coaches. He knows what it's like to have a handful of players. Everybody gets sick. Something happens. You don't have a full bench. Is he going to be softer? I even hate to ask that, but is there a mentality change when you're a head coach like that?
I think that as a competitor in any sport, whether you're a coach, you're a player, you want to give it your all. No matter if you have 5, you have 20 players on the bench. So I think at this point it's not necessarily a matter of, falling back and, okay, we're going to relax. Maybe it's changing your tactics and maybe presenting a challenge to the athletes. Hey, maybe let's make 20, 25 good passes on this specific play before we go and attack the rim.
There you go. So there it is, folks. It's game 3. From here at the UMAC, it's HFC, it's Union, and we're coming up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the John Q. Hammonds Arena on the campus of Union High School for the 2021 Jenks Union Invitational. From the girls bracket, we have Hoops for Christ and Union. First, let's meet the visitors, the Hoops for Christ Lady Warriors. A senior number 1, Chloe Brown. A sophomore number 2, Holly Hendricks. A freshman number 5, NASA Davis. A junior number 10, Rachel Jackson. And a sophomore number 12, Megan Eishen. Head coach Lady Warriors is John Davis, assisted by Danny Eishen. And now for your Union starting 5. A 6-foot, a junior number 0, TK Pitts. At 5'10", a senior number 10, Kaylin Nelson. At 5'9", a junior number 14, Mackenzie Mellum. At 5'10", a senior number 24, Jordan Connor. And at 6'2", a junior number 45, Sydney Smith. Head coach for Union is Joe Redmond, assisted by Jim Stacy, Sean Davis, and Taylor Sells. Union comes into tonight's contest with a 12-0 record and are currently ranked number 2 in Class 6A. Officials for tonight's contest are Bobby Kelly, Mr. Rick Smith, and Mr. Scott Bryans.
They're going to get 3 games for sure.
Absolutely. I think that their main concern right now would be to how are they going to handle this and last physically throughout this entire game. And then the second concern for this would be foul trouble. We got to stay clean, especially on the boards. Like right there,
Sydney
perfect.
Smith.
And that's what we want to see early on. So for Coach Redmond, he started TK Pitts, Kalen Nelson, Mackenzie Malum, Jordan Connor, and Sydney Smith. And those are names that Casey and I have mentioned quite a bit as Coach Redmond's starting 5. And for the Warriors, Chloe Brown, Holly Hendricks, Nasa Davis, Rachel Jackson, and Megan Eischen. And just already 2-0 early on, but we'll see if Coach Davis wants to try to match the pace. He's going to know his kids better than you and I do for sure. And if he feels his kids can run and gun, and if they keep it tight in the first quarter, there's no telling what can happen, right?
Absolutely. I think that they need to be extra smart this evening, especially taking care of each possession down on the offensive end and then making sure to get back. And this is where maybe Union can take over by just running and running, knowing that
like
they
that.
don't have subs.
Yeah,
yes.
Like that. Like that. Connor's got 2. So on the board, it's Connor and Kalen Nelson, Connor and Sydney Smith early on with 2 points apiece. The Warriors will set it up here. Looks like Eichen's going to be the one to kind of quarterback this. She'll give it to Hendricks. Hendricks back up top. And that ball's out of play. And Union will take over.
And those are the possessions we're talking about, Jim, that they really need to take care of the ball each time and maximize each opportunity.
Malum up high over to Nelson. Nelson will shoot the 3. She's off. Pitts there with the rebound. And talk about TK Pitts and her just dominance against Sapulpa here in just a minute as Malum takes it up high. She's over to Pitts. Pitts will survey the floor. Look up high to Nelson. Nelson back to Malum. Malum will shoot the 3. Off. 3-nut ball not coming, but there's Pitts. She throws it away, and the Warriors will bring it up. Early on here, thanks for joining us on the Union Sports Network alongside Coach Sarah Blakely. I am Jim Douthit. We appreciate you guys joining us and understand there may be a few HFC fans watching us out of Oklahoma City. Thanks for joining us here, and we are proud of your young ladies for coming up here and accepting the challenge of playing in this tournament. It's a pretty special deal for them. So immediately, once again, possession, what you're talking about there. Brown tried to cough it up. It was good for her to hang on to it. And she tries to drive the lane in, kicks it outside. Nice little jump shot there. Can't get it to go. And rebound by Connor, and she'll have to pick it up. And that'll be a double, triple, right? Okay. I think that's what it was. Okay, I was asking you for affirmation. There are still things, and Casey gives me a hard time, there are still things after 5 games that I choke on every once in a while. So you can laugh at me because Casey does. It's
Oh,
okay.
I will continue to do that, yeah.
Please do. Please do. Smith with the tip out of bounds there. And Davis kind of barking some orders back to Eischen, letting her know, hey, not the pass she wanted right there. Now, she'll get it into Eischen. Up high to Brown. Hendricks take it from there. Outside to Eischen, and Eichen's trying to figure out what she wants to do here. Guarded closely by TK Pitts, but that happened 30 seconds ago. Now Brown. Brown surveying the floor, trying to figure what she does. She gets a little room. Nice little jumper there. Can't get it to go. Rebound Pitts. And Pitts will bring it up the floor. Now we'll quickly talk about TK as she drives. Nice dish there. In and one. Sydney will go to the line and get to shoot the extra basket. So TK comes in. She scores. She has a triple-double against Sapulpa, which I think it may be the first triple-double of the season for any boys or girls. Trent Pierce would be the one that comes to mind maybe from the boys' side. 24 points. We wanted her to stay in for 30. Coach Redmond pulled her with about 2.5, 3 minutes to play, something like that. From a coach's standpoint, when a player's hot like that, is there a plateau that you say, okay, we're going to yank her after she scores blank? Is it rhythm of the game? What's the mentality there?
I think maybe at that point it might be preservation. We don't want to get too crazy if we don't have to, because that would be a disaster if she were to get hurt in the last, 3 minutes of a game and then now is out X amount of weeks and can't go.
That makes a lot of sense. And they were up by, goodness, a dozen or more at that point, and they were really in control after about the first quarter. So good advice from you. You miss it at all now that you're back? You've had 4 minutes of basketball back in your blood?
Oh, yeah, 100% miss the sport so much. And, volleyball and basketball are so different sports, but, the kids are the same.
Right.
So I at least get that feel of hanging out with the kids and really coaching them up and leading them, so that's good.
Malum with the drive and be a jump ball there. Some frustration setting in for the young NASA Davis a little bit. And that's another thing that for sure the Warriors got to do is keep themselves in check. They have no subs. So it's not like you can get frustrated and I got somebody to back me up if I get teed up or whatever the case may be.
Right. I think at this point, Coach Davis really has to utilize his timeouts effectively and really strategize that because he will need to use those essentially in place of his subs.
Jamari Harris, as she checks in and she's quickly to get some points. So let me go over the players on the floor right now for Union. You got Marshall Penny, Jordan Connor, Aubrey Highshaw, say hi to Grandma watching down in Texas. And, of course, let's see who else is out here as everybody's running around. Can you guys, ladies, just stand still for a minute so I can get everybody? No, that's not going to happen. We'll get everybody else here in just a second. Jamari Harris is here. And that's about it. I think I got everybody. It'll be the same five for Coach Davis. Now, I'm noticing early on Coach Redmond not going to the full court press. That was one of the things that we noticed in just about every start here, right from the gun. He's got a full court press with with whatever team he's playing, and tonight I'm not seeing that out of him. So maybe a little different strategy, allowing HFC to work on some things as well.
Absolutely. I think that one thing that really the Union team does well is scout. They watch their film, they know their assignments, and so maybe they took a little bit different of a strategy knowing what this lineup was going to be for HFC.
And she's going to travel on that. Yep. She traveled on that. I'm not too sure what happened with Highshaw there. She lost her footing, but she'll get charged with the travel. And I think it says something, too, about just the sportsmanship. You can easily full court press it right now if the girls are shooting a little better. It's easy 20-2, right?
Right.
And so they're not playing full court press. They're allowing HFC to come up the floor and work on some things themselves. So it says a lot about the kind of sportsmanship that Coach Redmond is preaching not only to his players through his actions, but overall.
Right, especially right now, it is really nice to just be able to play. You never know when your last game's going to be with how things are going on in the world, and so just to get out here and get some reps is beneficial.
Nice block there by Hendricks, and they'll take over. Connor went up, and Hendricks got a piece of that, so Holly Hendricks showing her way that she can play. She came to play tonight. 12-2, 131 left here in the first. Going to be a push. Charge to Aubrey Highshaw. That'll be her first. Team's second, I believe. Team's first, my apologies. Brown will throw it in. Brown throws it into Hendricks. Hendricks will survey the floor. They'll try to set something up new. What kind of defense are we playing here, Coach?
Well, it looks like we're just straight up and man. And
there's a nice steal. Marshall Penny in. Nice. Finger roll gets it to go.
Even though with these subs and how we now have a shorter lineup than we did with our starters, these players that are on the floor right now are really scrappy, and they might be short, not have that long length, but they're willing to tap at that ball and get it loose.
Little double dribble there, action. Nice little move by Megan, but she got charged with a double dribble. That'll probably come into play a little bit as well. The more fatigue sets in for these young ladies, kind of get your hands not working like they normally would if you had a sub or two.
Absolutely.
Or three.
you got to consider, the chemistry out there for these 5. Are they used to all playing together? If there were other players here, would someone usually play a different spot? So them battling through this is going to be really important.
Marshall Penny for 3, and she's going to lead all scorers with 5 right now. At the beginning of the broadcast, if you would have told me Marshall Penny would lead all scorers, I probably would have said no, but that's nice to see Coach giving that young lady some playing time. And I tell you, when we've seen her off the bench, Sarah, she's been phenomenal. As a matter of fact, all of these players, just off the bench, it's almost like I think about Alabama, and I know I'm probably overstretching, but when it comes to Alabama and their football program, it's a plug-and-play system. If one player gets hurt, they're sticking somebody else in there that's just as good. And it seems like Coach Redmond has this with this group of young ladies.
I think he definitely does have a solid bench and a solid lineup that he can really go to whoever on the bench for any situation.
Nice steal by there, but they do squander that possession. As the Warriors, these young ladies not backing down, not backing down at all. They had a nice steal with us trying to bring it up the floor as we got a little lazy, and they threw it away. There's the long 3 at the buzzer. No good for Miss Harris. So, hey, I tell you what, we're going to take a timeout here. We're coming back. It's HFC and Union. Union up by 15. We're back with second quarter on the Union Sports Network.
For more than 50 years, Central States Orthopedics and Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic Center have been the area's leading orthopedic and sports medicine providers. And now, we've joined forces as Advanced Orthopedics of Oklahoma. One name, one focus. Excellent orthopedic and sports medicine care. Together, we serve as the team physicians for almost every high school and university in the region. We are the area's leading expert for work-related injuries, and our surgical hospital is the only 5-star rated hospital in Tulsa. Advanced Orthopedics of Oklahoma. Come see why we're better together. For more than
Welcome back for second quarter action here on the Union Sports Network alongside Coach Sarah Blakely. I'm Jim Douthit, and early on, if you're just joining us, I guess I should say, HFC playing with 5 girls. That's all they brought up. Coach Davis telling me earlier he had 9 players to start the season and 4 left the program, and so he stuck with 5. So if you're new to understanding what HFC does, let's talk a little bit about the program that Coach Davis has started. So he has taken the homeschool, it's basically a homeschool basketball team. And if you're homeschooled, of course, there's an athletic component that sometimes these kids miss out on. Coach Davis started this program. They're in their 5th year. I will say that he has 4 boys that are currently playing in college. So he's been, I would say, extremely successful early on with his boys program. Obviously, girls is going to have a little bit of work as we have a steal there and a nice bounce pass and a beautiful lay-in by Marshall Penny, and she's on a tear. She's got 7 of the 19. But something that Casey and I talked about with the Sapulpa team, and you brought it up earlier, our girls have played together. We're not 100% sure if these 5 on the floor have played together for any length of time. So chemistry is obviously going to play into it. But if you put 5 players out here, Coach, that have played together, this may be a whole different score up there.
Absolutely. I think that, right here, is she used to playing up top? Right. Is she really supposed to be down low? Right. Is there someone else that usually feeds her those post passes? And so I think that is also an important aspect, but right now that's not a luxury that they have.
Right. And so during the break, Coach Davis, what's he talking to his 5 players about? What is his strategy here? Down by 17, it was 50 and a half.
I think at this point, just pack it in, and you've got to move. You got to help your teammates, stay positive. You got to push through that, cardio pain that maybe you're feeling right about now. pull those boards because you don't want to have them continuously pulling those outlets and running on them.
Nice rebound there by Davis, and Aishan will bring it up. They'll try to set it up. 5:51 here to go in the second. Hendricks up high. She'll go to work. Hendricks with some nice moves. She's a pretty darn good little ball handler for sure for the Warriors. All over it there. Nice little move there. She'll push it inside and then kick it back out. Almost stolen. Controlled there back by Aishan. Megan will survey the floor and get it over and closer to our side. Brown. Brown now working it. Nice little pass inside. They'll kick it back out. And Union not giving up anything down low. Trying to get that inside and nothing there. Now Davis is not really forcing any issues inside, although she has directed traffic right now. She'll pick it up. Now at that point, that's a play where she probably doesn't want to pull that off the floor, because when she pulls it off the floor, she's got to pass it at that point. Wouldn't you want your kids to kind of dribble through that until she sees a pass or a shot and get it off?
I think facing up and being strong and being that triple threat position is going to help her a lot on this offensive end here, allowing her to have space to look and find that person.
There you go. And there's a timeout, and now we're gonna keep it right here on the timeout and talk a little bit about these young ladies, and let's start with TK Pitts. I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, she comes up with a triple-double. I believe it's the first triple-double that either one of our teams have had, any of our players have had, boys or girls this year. What do you remember about TK, and what are you seeing maybe differently now where she's improved?
Well, she can definitely run the floor, Jim.
Right.
She is go, go, go. And I think now seeing her on this varsity level, she has a lot more control and is able to make those moves and finish at the rim. We saw a lot of potential in her at the 8th grade level where, yes, missed layups, but of course it's 8th grade. And now it's really nice to see that she's harnessed all of those skills and is able to finish.
She is one of those that obviously not the tallest kid on the floor, not the biggest kid on the floor, but when you get a triple-double and you have 10 rebounds with all these other, I mean, over Sydney Smith, over Kaylin Nelson, and Kaylin's extremely physical. We probably won't see or have to see a lot of that tonight. But it's amazing that she led in that category. Points doesn't surprise me, but when it comes to rebounds, I was very, very surprised with that. So Coach Redmond will go back with his starting 5 on the floor now. Malum will control it. Nelson and Pitts. Pitts will get it back to Malum, and Malum far side to Nelson. Nelson will stop, pop, can't get it to go. Rebound by Nelson. After a nice hustle by Sydney Smith. Back over to Pitts. Pitts inside to Sydney, and she can't get it to go, but she'll shoot 2. So you see the girls smiling a little bit while they're playing, and Sydney Smith is one of those girls we could talk about. That kid seems to have a smile on her face all the time.
Oh, it was really fun to coach this group, even on the floor, having a good time, but especially when we get out here, back to the locker room, whatever bus rides,
Right.
the laughter does not stop.
That's good. And that says something about chemistry. That says something about, well, winning does a lot for a team. When you're undefeated, there's a different way you walk, there's a different way you talk, and there's definitely a different way that you act on the bus and around each other. So the majority of these girls have played together. Is there any of these girls, besides Jordan Connor, who's new to the program, they've all played together since you coached? Is that correct for the most part?
Yeah, Kaylin Nelson was a year before TK and Malon's group, but they've all been around each other, especially with you talk about summer pride, things that we're doing in the weight room, and just going to different tournaments. When we go to the ORU tournament every summer, and so getting that experience together is important.
Brown will get charged with a foul as she pushes off. Said it was charged to Rachel Jackson, but I believe that foul was to Chloe Brown. Malum brings it up now. And we kind of talked about this too earlier, is that kind of slowed it down. There seems like they're working on a few things. Of course, as soon as I say that, Malum releases the 3 but can't get it to go. Rebound there by Smith, and she can't get it to go. Rebound there. That doesn't fall. There's a nice rebound by Davis.
As much as it's not an issue points-wise right now, I would like to see it a little bit cleaner on their end.
You get 3 chances to make 2. You better make them.
That close, especially, yes.
Right.
And this is where I was talking about earlier with HFC. They have to eliminate them one shot and done.
Right.
If we give them 3rd and 4th chances, that's you exerting energy trying to block out and try to get your outlets when you could have done it in 1.
Right. And this is a long tournament. Let's not kid ourselves. You've got a game tomorrow night. You've got a game on Saturday. And to play back to back to back when you're used to playing 1 or 2 games a week, that says a lot. And the competition obviously is going to get a lot stiffer as we move into Friday night for both squads, for that matter.
And that's the great thing about tournaments. It's what team can handle it. What team can handle the pressure of wanting to get to that championship bracket. The teams of having to turn right around into tomorrow morning shootout.
Jackson there off TK. That'll go out of bounds. TK would have hustled a little more. She could have got that, but I don't know if she's listening to me right now. She can't hear me.
Still smiling.
Oh, she's smiling. Yeah, she heard me. Okay. Yeah, there it is. There it is. TK just doing TK things. That was a Casey Jordan line that he came up with. We were trying to get T-shirts made.
Sounds pretty accurate.
Yes. 22-5 with 2:23 here remaining in the second. We appreciate you joining us on the Union Sports Network alongside Sarah Blakely. I am Jim Douthit. Thank Andy Irwin and our host of folks upstairs making us look and sound really, really good. Nicely done there. NASA Davis just throwing it off as she couldn't get the play to go, and she'll knock it off Malum with a little bit of authority. I like this Davis girl. She's playing with a little bit of edge, and that's something you probably want to see. It's a nice fight, and there TK with a steal. You want to see some fight in your players, even if they're getting blown out of the building, correct?
Absolutely.
There's another block, and that'll be the second block for Holly Hendricks. Even though we put it back, this Hendricks girl is, as I mentioned earlier, she's coming to play. I like this young lady. There's a kick out. I shouldn't have set it up. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Coach.
I like how the HFC Warriors aren't afraid to take it to the rim, even with this larger lineup. I think it's a good idea to have our Union girls collapse in and then get that kick out for a 3.
Right. And there's a shot that was a pretty good play. She just can't get it to go. Malum will push it up. 2-on-1 now, Malum. And she'll get fouled, go to the line and shoot 2, maybe, no shooting foul there. 15 foul second on Brown. And we will change all 5. We call that a fire wagon change or in hockey. When all 5 dump over the boards, yeah. When all 5 dump over the boards and 5 come out. That's pretty rare. And I tell you, as a goaltender, when you see all 5 players heading to the bench, I don't care what you do, you get very upset very quickly because you want to make sure the other 5 players are paying attention. But no fire wagon changes here. 26-5 now with just under a minute to play. First half. Thanks for joining us on the Union Sports Network. Zeishan shouts some orders. She'll take it. She'll drive, kick it out high to Brown. Brown for 3. Off. Rebound there.
That's that driving kick I really want to see more of from HFC.
And there's a jump ball called. Ball be awarded to, I believe, Union. Yes, arrow points to Union. So Harris will take it out. She'll inbound it to Highshaw. Highshaw, nice little stutter step. Beautiful drive there.
Great finish.
Kind of a Euro step. Now, I'm going to take myself back 30 years. I think that would have been traveling, and I know things have changed. What doesn't make that a travel?
How many steps you take, Jim?
Well, I don't know. It looked like, to me, it looked like she takes 3 with the jump.
If you do it correctly, won't be a travel. You finish that last dribble, right, left, around the girl, got that layup.
Got it.
Was that too harsh on you?
Yeah, that was a little much. I promise not to talk hockey anymore. I promise.
Yeah. Hey, you said free game, right?
Yes, it's free game
on you?
Yeah, free game on me. You're taking up where Casey Jordan left off, so I appreciate that. Go to line and shoot 2.
I'm sure anybody listening is appreciating this.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Hendricks now shoots the second and 2. Sunk the first one. Nice stroke by her, and they're up to 7. 28-7 with just about 7 seconds here.
Those are the situations they really got to capitalize on, getting those free points at the line.
Big three, just off. Jamari Harris shoots the 3. So real quick, what's coaching strategy here for Coach Davis walking into the locker room?
I think just get more aggressive, especially when those starting 5 leave the floor and you've got this shorter lineup. Take it to the rim. Do exactly what just happened. Make Union foul them so they can get on the line. And therefore, free throws should be free money, right?
Right, should be.
Bank those shots. Now you're a little bit closer to that, closing that gap.
There you go. About 9:40 left to the start of the third. Go get your drinks. Go run to the restroom. Come back and join the one, the only Sarah Blakely and myself, Jim Dowdett, here on the Union Sports Network. We'll be back in about 9 minutes. Welcome back here to the UMAC as we start the second half. 28-7 Union on top of HFC Warriors. If you're just joining us, yes, it is correct. There are 5 HFC players. Nice inside move and a beautiful job there by Megan Eischen to get 9 points now for HFC.
You can tell the halftime served them well. It looks like some fresher legs here, able to make that aggressive cut to the rim.
That's something that really Union needs to start paying attention, because we've learned in youth sports there's really no such thing as too big a lead, or, you know, a lead that you're going to blow. So, I mean, it's going to happen. There's Barnes with the first 2 of her day, but something to be mindful of for Union, and the caliber of play needs to stay consistent, even though if you're blowing a team out, correct? Can't get soft.
I think that you need to not take this lead for granted. You know, keep a nice, consistent head. You don't want to relax and start standing up on defense. You know, stay down, make sure in your help side, jump, cut off that player.
Now Brown, she'll look around, she'll get it over to Jackson. Jackson now back to Brown. Brown will dribble close to this side. She'll pull up and stop, kind of survey the floor. She'll bark some directions. Now Brown, there's a steal by Smith. Smith all alone, smile on her face as she goes down the floor, and she'll miss the layup, and that's kind of what we were talking about. Those are plays probably Coach Redmond's not going to be very happy about.
No, and I love that they are aggressive to go and get those tips and know that their teammate's going to have their back if they miss it. But when you get those tips and you have that run out, you got to get those gimmies.
Right. There's a foul there on Pitts.
Got a flashback to 8th grade with that foul right there.
Something she did a lot.
Yep. Just stay straight up, TK.
Right. There you go. Coach telling you to stay up. So something that Coach Redmond and even you as a coach would tell them, say, hey, look, you can't miss that. And one thing I haven't noticed tonight that the girls are really good at typically is crashing the boards and getting rebounds. Now, yeah, it's a fast break, but you've got players that are going to keep up with Smith. They need to be following that play,
Absolutely.
Even if you're up by 21.
I think that was, you know, no excuse right there. Just follow your teammate. And I think that's a good habit to, you know, instill in your teammates and your athletes if you're a coach, no matter what level you're playing at.
30-10 now. Nicely done. It's Megan Eischen keeping her team in it. Now, Barnes, she'll set it up, give it to Penny. Penny inside to Smith. Smith turn around, can't get it to go. And there is a rebound, nicely done. Harris with the hustle, she'll get it over to Pitts. Pitts turnaround jumper, nicely done, and Pitts with a nice smile on her face. That was a better possession by Union that time.
I would like to see the HFC really just stop them one and done, because right there, block out, get that rebound. They don't have 2 more points.
Drive, no foul called. Hustle there again. Rebound up ahead. There's Harris. Harris stops. Nice little move and can't get it to go, but she's got her own rebound, and she'll get fouled and go to the line and shoot 2. See who the foul is on. Megan Eischen will get charged with a foul, but that's a first foul. And none of these girls getting in foul trouble for HFC says a lot, too. They're competing, they're trying to compete, and they're not in there slashing and hacking every time down the floor.
Exactly, and I think this is the same situation they were trying to put on their offensive end. I think they maybe just need to go a little bit aggressive on their move up to the rim, and they'll get that whistle.
Jackson with a rebound, and Eischen will bring it up slowly, look over to Coach Davis for some orders, and they'll set it up. Now they're talking, now they're moving, and I agree with you, Sarah. I think it's one of those things that the half did then some good, and now they're setting up some things, running some plays, and maybe trying to make every possession count. As a little sloppy on the ball handling there, but they'll rebound and start again. Guarded closely there by Pitts. They'll kick it out for 3, in and out, but rebound there. They'll set it up again. Nice move, beautiful shoes. Can't get it, and it does. Nice move. I think it's the shoes. I think it's the shoes. That's a good-looking pair of sneaks right there. Hendricks with some more points.
The thing about the shoes is you can only wear those if you can back it up. And I think maybe she's starting to show us she can back it up.
I would say so, because she has got 7 on the evening. Leads her team. So Coach Davis will take a timeout. We're going to keep it right here. So Coming up the rest of this weekend, we'll continue to broadcast the Union side of the Jenks Union Invitational Basketball Tournament. As you can see, all the action from the UMAC live and free here on the Union Sports Network. So those of you following this HFC team, Mustang or Ponca City for the girls bracket, you can watch all your ladies play here on the Union Sports Network. So for bracket and broadcast times, that can be found on our Twitter account at Union_athletics. Again, that's our Twitter account at Union_athletics for bracket and broadcast times. Timeout here, Davis taking it. Probably going to see a few more timeouts in this half than you saw in the first half, wanting to keep his kids energized and rested as much as possible.
I think he was confident in his players for that whole first quarter, but seeing that they were lagging leading into that halftime, really will need to strategize those timeouts.
Right now, Jackson will throw it into Aishan. Megan will bring it up the floor. Go ahead.
I'd like to see number 2, Holly Hendricks, score a few more buckets here. You know, listed on the max prep, she averages about 14.3 points per game. I'd like to see that number here tonight.
She trips over the ball. Harris up. Nice little bucket there by Marshall Penny. I said Harris and getting my number screwed up. Marshall Penny with a nice steal and drive and finish. 34-13 with 4:06 remaining now in the third. And just like you drew it up, Coach, right to her, and she can't get it to fall.
She seemed a bit rushed on that shot there with that defense coming in on that closeout.
Pitts drives, can't get it to go. That ball will be out of bounds and awarded to be Union's ball out of bounds as Malum, Nelson, Hendricks, Connor, and I believe high shot check back in. Now Nelson up high. She'll get it back and shoot the three. We want to see that start falling for her. Nice rebound there by Connor. She'll kick it back out, and Malum will take control. Short side over here, back up top. Malum thought about it. She'll kick it back over. And a three ball there by Janiyah Hendricks. And Hendricks, like to see her shooting the ball well. And she'll play a little man-to-man, I guess is what we're calling this. What's that called when you keep one player back? It's not a full court press at that case, but you're.
Well, we could say man-to-man, you know, underneath the free throw line, or excuse me, the three-point line. We could say man-to-man, half court all the way up.
Okay.
Or you can just have one person ISO on that whatever team that you're playing. They might have a go girl. Okay, you need to stay on number 2 because you know she's going to shoot a lot, and everyone else just do their thing.
Got it. Very good. So great coaching strategies from the one, the only Coach Blakely. We appreciate that.
I got to remember to keep my coaching hat off sometimes, and I want to tell some of these players to change some things. I
think they'd probably listen to you. I saw a couple of them look over here, kind of give you a double look, like, wait a second, is that Coach Blakely over there?
Oh, yeah, they thought they got rid of me. They didn't. I'm still here.
Nice steal there, and a nice pickup for Connor. She was having some trouble dribbling the ball. She'll give it to Malum, and Malum will set it up. This side to Connor. Connor back inside to Nelson. Nelson thought about it quick, gets it inside. Nice turnaround move, but a block there. Right back to Connor, and she can't get it to go. And truthfully, not picking on our girls, but they're having a little bit more trouble than they should putting that ball in the hoop tonight.
I'm really liking the flashes of the high post. I think they really need to capitalize on those opportunities there. Look down low for the seal on the lower post. Maybe a kick out to your shooter.
Now Highshaw, she'll throw it into Nelson. Nelson, turnaround jumper, and she's money from there.
I think that's what she was looking for in that last possession. It just wasn't
quite there for her. Now Aishan bringing it up. So this is an isolation play that you'd be calling. So she's going to stay on her, and then everybody else kind of does their thing, and that's what we're seeing here. That's what we're seeing here. HFC brings it around. Brown inside. She stops. Can't find anything. She'll kick it back out. Hendricks thinks about it again. Puts it down, steps back. Shoots the three, can't get it to go. Rebound there by Nelson. It's a pretty good little move by Hendricks. Up ahead. And now Union begins to play some of the basketball that we're used to. Malum for three.
That's the Mackenzie Malum I know right there. This goes back to, Coach Redmond and his program really getting into the scouting and watching film and how we're having this more pressure on number 12, Megan Aishan, She has a 11.7 percentage on that, points per game, 11.7 points per game. And so knowing that she's a tough scorer here, kind of taking her out of the mix is really helping them.
So keeping her off the board and really Hendricks as well, as we talked about. And now Hendricks has got the ball. She'll try to drive, but nothing there for her. Guarded closely there by Malum. They'll kick it out. They're trying to push that inside, but it's just not working out for them. As fresh feet will be something that we can attribute this to for Union. And tired feet, we could attribute it to as well, as we're down to about 30 seconds here left in the third. Quickly through this game. Refs have been great about fouls, possession time. There's 5-second violation there, and that's just, again, probably has to do with fatigue at this point settling in.
Aisha's really trying to work through that pressure up top, just not finding anybody to get it to.
Now Malum, 19 seconds. They'll play some catch around the perimeter, back and forth. Nelson thinks about it, back to Malum. Malum over to Highshaw. Highshaw back to Malum. Malum will shoot the three and drain it.
There's another.
Now we could talk 45-13. When we come back from the break, let's talk about a record that you're really close to holding, and has to do with the three-point range. We're back in about 30 seconds on the Union Sports Network.
For more than 50 years, Central States Orthopedics and Eastern Oklahoma Orthopedic Center have been the area's leading orthopedic and sports medicine providers. And now, we've joined forces as Advanced Orthopedics of Oklahoma. One name, one focus. Excellent orthopedic and sports medicine care. Together, we serve as the team physicians for almost every high school and university in the region. We are the area's leading expert for work-related injuries, and our surgical hospital is the only 5-star rated hospital in Tulsa. Advanced Orthopedics of Oklahoma. Come see why we're better together.
Until 2011.
Welcome back to the Union Sports Network alongside Coach Sarah Blakely. I'm Jim Douthit, and you may have heard us coming in off the break. We were talking about a record that I don't know if it's a record, but it is definitely something to be proud of, Coach, in that you led on that 2008 team. You led in percentage three-pointers made for that team that went undefeated and won a straight championship.
2011, I wasn't quite that great. And 2208, wow, not 2011.
Yeah.
2008, let's go back a little bit further in that time machine right there.
Nice steal there by Kennedy. She'll get another two.
Nice finish. Those are the finishes we really want to see.
Right. So we'll talk about that real quick. So you had the likes of our athletic director, Emily Barkley, on that team. A young lady, Coach Garcia's daughter, which is, her name is
Mackenzie.
Mackenzie, right. When you go on a run like that, and you're part of a team like that, what do you see in this team that Union has that reminds you of that team that you played on?
So it was really great as a freshman to come in and run that scout team for that 2008 varsity team that went undefeated, and just the air in the gym every single day. Crisp. We're all coming in here to work. We know what our tasks are. We know what our assignments are. We're going to get after it. And so just being around them and seeing that high caliber intensity every day from when we walked in the gym at 3 o'clock until we left at 5, we're working on a state championship. And so I can see a lot of that here tonight with these girls, knowing their scouting report, going hard no matter what the score is.
Chloe Brown throws it in to Holly Hendricks, and Hendricks will start to work it up. Hendricks over to Brown. Looks like Coach Davis has drawn us a few things up. We'll see what HFC, can do here. Turnover, no, not at all. Well, yes, boy howdy. Back and forth and back and forth. There was a whistle.
Looks like a foul.
One white. And out of that mix, I'm not too sure how you call a foul. And believe me, refs know these rules better than I do, but Jamari Harris gets called with a foul. And Coach Davis will quickly take a timeout. At this point, again, talking about the similarities, do you see any players that are on the floor right now that remind you of the Emily Barkleys, of yourself even, in maybe style or just how they compose themselves as they are on the floor or even on the bench for that matter?
I really like Malum's attitude. She comes from a long line of athletes, with her older sister playing, soccer and basketball as well, and her little brother coming up here in Union Athletics. But she really has a great concept of the game, which is what you saw a lot in 2008, of knowing how to play basketball, not just going to put the ball on the floor and try to get in the hoop, but the ins and outs and the X's and O's. And that's her role, as the facilitator, of being able to look up the floor and find that one person, maybe even thread the needle for a bucket.
And it's one of the things that we see all the time when we see her quarterback everything. She very rarely has to look back to Coach Redmond to get some sort of play drawn up, and she's always directing traffic. So it says a lot about what Coach Redmond has. The confidence that Coach Redmond has in Malum. As I pause there because the buzzer went off again, I didn't know what we were doing. All right, so Brown up high. She surveys the floor, kicks it down to Aishin. Aishin now puts it on the floor. Brown looks to shoot the three. She'll put it on the floor. And off there, and the steal by Smith. Smith up to Pitts. Pitts with a finish. And TK Pitts has got 4. Hendricks now goes to shoot the three, blocked there by Pitts, but Hendricks gets the rebound, shoots it back up, can't get it to fall, and Smith with the rebound. She almost took too many steps, and she knows it. She dribbles it up the floor now. Pass over to Pitts. Pitts easily done, 51-13 with 5:50 remaining here.
You can start to see some of the frustration setting in with HFC, but they've got to remember to keep a cool head and just take care of each possession one at a time. Don't even worry about the scoreboard right now. Let's just go play basketball and have some fun.
And I'll tell you something that I got to speak with the great Coach Davis over there for HFC prior to the game, and that was one of the things that he was preaching almost to his girls. It's like, what are we doing every time down the floor? Every time that ball's in your hand, what are you doing? Yes, we're 1-4. Yes, we are playing with obviously no bench. So he definitely has, he's not telling these girls we're going to go in and shock the world or anything like that. He is literally coaching these girls one possession, almost one dribble at a time. And so it says a lot about the kind of program he's trying to create. And I tell you, if you're a homeschool kid in Oklahoma City and you want to get your young lady or young man in basketball, I guarantee Coach Davis with HFC is somebody that you need to be in touch with, because he's a fine man. In the few minutes we got to talk, I love how he's talking, and I love how he handles these girls. Difference for you, Coach, in obviously the sport's different, but is there a different mentality between volleyball players and basketball players, and how you approach preparation and how you approach games?
It's taken me a little bit to get used to the differences, especially with, we were talking earlier during the break about layups as a certain, method for basketball, and it's completely opposite with your approach to hitting in volleyball. So I have really had to switch my brain around on that aspect. Sometimes I still get mixed up, and they're like, Coach, it's volleyball. I'm like, you're right, my bad. But, like I said, kids are kids, and, teaching them those life lessons that you were saying that Coach Davis does with his group, that's still the same. And as far as, wanting to get them to work hard, I think both groups, basketball and volleyball, do really great all the way throughout the program.
Davis will hand it off there to Aishin. She'll kick it out. Nice bucket there, can't get it to go. Chloe Brown had a nice look, but she just couldn't get it to go. And again, when it's short like that, that's definitely a fatigue issue, where you're not getting the ball even to the hoop, and that's got to be a little fatigue sitting in. But hand it to Brown for getting back and playing a little defense, even though she'll get charged with a foul. 53-13 with 4:35 remaining. But what about prep? Any difference in preparation with volleyball? I mean, it seems like, golly, some of those 5 sets that I called for our high school team, it seemed like it would go longer than some of our basketball games would go.
So at the junior high level, we thankfully only do 3 sets, best of 3. So, win the first 2, we're done.
Right.
The lineups are definitely different. Going to have to figure out that rotation, which is a whole science of its own. But as far as, just getting the teams warmed up, let's make sure we're focused. Let's make sure we know what we're supposed to do. And if we have info on the other team, let's, use that to our advantage.
Sounds very familiar. Sounds like some of the things that I've heard Coach Redmond and Coach Garcia say prior to
Yes.
games. So fundamentally, it's the same. Fundamentally, it's the same.
And that's the fun part is I feel like if you have a good grasp on coaching in one sport that, as long as you know the rules and maybe the fundamentals of that next sport that you're wanting to try, the coaching is coaching.
There's Hendricks. You wanted her to get alive, and she's got 6 now. Coach Redmond got the timeout in, I think. Is that what we got going on?
Might just be a sub change, looks like.
Yeah, I think he got.
I really want to give props to this HFC team. This is them working through adversity, which I'm sure they'll see in their daily lives as they grow up, which I'm sure Coach Davis has instilled in them.
For sure, he was giving me a little scripture early on about different scriptures that he uses with his students, and how he uses that to teach them just life concepts. And I guarantee there's going to be some scripture that he'll be able to turn to at the end of this night. And I'm not saying that as a joke. I mean that as all honesty, because I know that's what he turns to when he talks to his girls. So here's Hendricks. She'll drive. Nice little dish. Can't get it to go. Rebound there. Pushing it up the floor to Connor. Connor gives it back to Nelson. Nelson will put it on the floor. Can't get it to go. And rebound there. And nice possession, or nice defense, I should say, by HFC.
I see number 1, Chloe Brown, working really hard this entire game, trying to get those screens, trying to get those rebounds, and even handling the ball up top a few times.
I mean, an all-out effort really by all these young ladies. The one player in NASA Davis that we haven't said a lot about, and it's not that she hadn't worked hard, but she's been down underneath the basket and in the paint, and golly, they just haven't been able to get it into her. As Malum gets it off the steal, can't get it to go. Fumbled around there. Connor finally gets her hands on it. She'll shoot it up, and one. She'll go to the line and shoot the extra, get the bonus out of the deal. And that was kind of what I was referring to earlier, that the girls didn't seem to be doing there. Really, at the end of the second and the beginning of the third, they weren't crashing the boards like we have seen them done. And that's not a rhythm you want to get into. You get at least one more game, probably, well, or at least 2 more games, and hopefully a run at a championship in your own tournament. You got to stay consistent and play that way the entire tournament.
This is something I've told my teams a lot, is that you can't get that game back. What you did between those times are important.
Rebound, Nelson. Nelson turnaround jumper, can't get it to go.
And so each game, live opportunity that you have is really important to take each of those reps. As much as we can try to mimic a game in practice, it's still not the same when the lights are on, the fans are here, the popcorn's, popping.
Right. Matter of fact, that sounds kind of good right now.
Are we even doing that?
I don't know. No, I'd probably choke on it, and then that would be a whole thing that would get us a lot more views and a lot of likes. Well, a lot of shares anyway. Probably don't want to do that. As we're approaching the minute and 45-second mark here, remaining in the fourth. 57-15, Union on top of the HFC Warriors. Thanks for joining us on the Union Sports Network alongside Sarah Blakely. I'm Jim Douthit, and we've got more basketball coming up here as the HFC Warrior boys come in and will play Coach Garcia and his men of Union, if you will. That's coming up. Tip-off time, supposed to be 8:30, I believe. Hendricks again with points. Up ahead, ball out of bounds as an inadvertent pass goes out. Probably just a little too much mustard on that ball.
Hendricks itching closer to her points per game average.
She's got 8. 106, 105 now remaining. So the HFC boys, I'll remind you guys, if you're watching tonight, the girls bracket, Mustang, Ponca City, and HFC, all those games will be televised right here on the Union Sports Network. You can check our Twitter account at Union_athletics for brackets and times. That's Union_athletics for the current brackets and times. And if you're wondering what's happening over in Jenks, you're going to have to turn on the NFHS network. That's nfhsnetwork.com for information on how to stream those games. I believe there is a cost to watching the Jenks bracket, unfortunately. Up ahead, nice job. Nice job by Aubrey Highshaw, steal in the bucket.
You really see HFC trying to be aggressive all the way to the end. And you like to see that in a team.
You know, and these young ladies, we got to hand it to Coach Davis and all three of them, and I'll mention them again: Chloe Brown, Holly Hendricks, NASA Davis, Rachel Jackson, and Megan Eischen. And it's great for these young ladies to come up. They didn't quit at all. There's no quitting any of them. And it's really, this has been fun to watch these young ladies, and we're proud of them. And we wish them the best through the rest of this tournament and obviously the rest of the season as well. So 59-17 will come to you tomorrow at 4 o'clock right here on the Union Sports Network. So we will be here tomorrow as Union will play again at 4. And HFC will get the Mustang team at 4 o'clock. And then HFC will play tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And they're going to play Ponca City tomorrow night. So 4 o'clock here. Join myself. Casey Jordan will be back. That'll happen at 4. And then HFC will play Ponca City tomorrow evening. That'll happen at 7. So, Coach, any parting words? What did you see in the girls, your girls, I'll call them your girls, tonight that you love so much?
I just think we really need to clean it up, especially moving forward in this bracket. You know, I'm sure they'll break down this film at some point and look at all these little mistakes that they've had. But we really need to just have another athlete over here breaking up my vibe over here. So I'll wrap it up quickly, but basically clean up those little missed layups because every point's going to matter the further on you get into this championship. There
you have it, folks. We've got Union, we've got HFC boys. That's coming up in 22 minutes right here on the Union Sports Network.